All right, ready to dive into some seriously fascinating territory today. We're talking all things sleep.
Yeah, we're talking about the science behind those Z's you catch every night. It's way more interesting than you might think.
You guys wanted to know more about this, and frankly, after digging into the research we've got lined up, I'm kind of kicking myself for not looking into this sooner.
You and me both. The stuff we're learning about how sleep impacts our bodies and minds, pretty wild.
Okay, so let's just start with the most basic question. Why do we even sleep? I mean, it seems like we could be using those hours to be productive, get things done.
Right, you'd think so. But here's the thing. Our bodies crave sleep. It's not just about resting our muscles. There's a whole internal system that practically forces you to sleep.
Like that feeling when you've been up way too late and suddenly you can barely keep your eyes open.
Exactly. And that's your homeostatic process kicking in. It's like an internal timer that gets stronger the longer you stay awake.
Yeah.
Your body's way of saying, all right, enough is enough. Time to recharge.
Okay, so there's that internal pressure building to make us sleep, but then there's also that whole circadian rhythm thing, right? Like our bodies are tuned to the sun.
Exactly. That internal clock is super powerful. If you've ever traveled across time zones, you know what I'm talking about.
Tell me about it. Jet lag is brutal.
It proves just how vital that natural sleep-wake cycle is. It's not just about feeling tired. It's about your body getting into a rhythm.
Okay, so we've got the sleep drive, we've got our internal clocks. But what about that feeling when you do wake up and you're just dragging? Sleep inertia, right?
Ah, yes, the dreaded morning brain fog. It's like your brain is still booting up, trying to shake off sleep and switch back to reality mode.
And that transition is rough sometimes. But while we're talking about what's going on in our heads, what's actually happening in our brains when we sleep?
You mean, is it just lights out up there?
Oh.
Definitely not.
Mm-hmm.
Our brains are hard at work while we're sleeping, cycling through different sleep stages.
And each stage has its own unique thing going on.
Totally. Take REM sleep, for example. That's where things get really interesting.
Ah, yes, REM sleep rapid eye movement. Right. Isn't that when we have those crazy, vivid dreams?
Exactly. During REM sleep, your brain is surprisingly active. It's almost as if you're awake. You're processing emotions, consolidating memories,
Mm.
and yeah, sometimes cooking up some bizarre dreams in the process.
Speaking of bizarre dreams, maybe we'll save my dream from last night for another time.
Probably wise. But yeah, alongside REM, you cycle through lighter sleep stages and then eventually into deep sleep, which is all about physical restoration. It's like your body's own little repair crew coming in to fix things while you're snoozing. Tissues are repairing, hormones are being released. It's pretty remarkable.
So, like our own personal team of tiny doctors working their magic each night. I like it.
Okay, but what about that whole you grow in your sleep thing? As someone who's always working on my fitness, I gotta ask.
Right, got all that idea. Sadly, it's not entirely true.
So I can't just sleep my way to being totally ripped. Not quite. Sleep is super important for your muscles to recover after you've pushed them, but it's not the be-all and end-all of muscle growth.
So, hitting the gym and eating right are still crucial. Shocker.
You got it. Those are the real cornerstones. Sleep is more like, I don't know, the support crew, making sure the repairs happen and everything's running smoothly.
Gotcha. So, how does sleep factor into muscle recovery then?
Well, during deep sleep, your body releases growth hormone, and that's a big player in repairing your muscles and building those proteins you need.
So, that's where the growth part comes in.
Exactly. But, and this is important, how much growth hormone you produce also depends on how hard you're pushing your body doing your workouts and the fuel you're giving it.
Okay, so it's all connected. You can't just skimp on one and expect miracles from the others.
Exactly. It's a team effort.
Speaking of performance, though, I'm really curious about sleep's impact on our brains. Everyone knows that feeling of being sleep deprived and just not functioning at your best.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not just about feeling tired and sluggish. Even missing out on a little sleep, like even an hour or two, can really mess with how well your brain works.
Whoa, seriously, I thought that was just me. I definitely feel way more, I don't know, foggy after those nights I stay up too late.
It's not just you. Your memory can take a hit. You can't focus as well. Even making decisions becomes harder. And those things impact every area of life.
It's like trying to run your brain on fumes. And I'm guessing it gets worse the longer you go without proper sleep.
Unfortunately, yeah. Chronic sleep loss is no joke. It can increase your risk of getting sick, messes with your mood, and has even been linked to bigger issues down the line, like heart problems.
Okay, now you're just trying to scare me into getting more sleep, right?
Maybe a little. But seriously, prioritizing sleep is one of the best things you can do for your health.
Okay, you've convinced me. So, how do we actually improve our sleep? Where do we even begin?
Well, there's a lot you can do. One of the most powerful is pretty simple, actually sunlight.
Like, just get a tan and call it a day. Sign me up.
Not quite that easy. It's more about when you're getting that sunlight. Remember we were talking about your circadian rhythm before? Well, daylight, especially in the morning, is key to keeping that internal clock in check.
You know what? I actually used to work out in this windowless gym, and I always felt so much more sluggish after those workouts. Never made the connection.
Makes total sense. When you're exposed to sunlight, it actually tells your body to pump the brakes on melatonin production.
Melatonin being that hormone that makes us sleepy.
Exactly. So getting enough sun during the day actually helps you sleep better at night.
Okay, that's a game changer. Got to soak up those rays. Now, what about caffeine? Asking for a friend who might have a bit of a coffee habit.
Caffeine. It's both a blessing and a curse when it comes to sleep.
Okay, so how does it actually work? How does my afternoon coffee mess with my sleep later?
So caffeine blocks this neurotransmitter called adenosine. And adenosine is basically your brain's way of signaling that it's time to wind down.
So when I drink caffeine, I'm basically telling my brain to ignore its own time for bed signal.
Pretty much. And everyone's different. Some people can have an espresso before bed and sleep like a log, while others are up all night from just a cup in the morning.
So it's all about figuring out what your own personal limit is. Makes sense. But besides caffeine, what else is messing with our sleep? So many things to think about. What about exercise? I'm always hearing different things about whether it's good or bad to work out close to bedtime.
Yeah, it definitely plays a role too. Working out too close to bedtime can make it harder to fall asleep. Your body's still kind of buzzing, you know?
Yeah, it's like you're still amped up from the gym, so maybe not the best idea to squeeze in a workout right before bed.
It depends on the person, but generally, giving yourself a few hours to wind down before bed is a good call.
Makes sense. What about all those little things people try to help them wind down? Like a hot bath or chamomile tea?
Having a solid evening routine is huge. Dimming the lights, taking a bath, reading a book instead of scrolling on your phone, those can all make a difference.
Yeah, I'm all about that cozy vibe before bed. Is there actually any science behind that kind of stuff, though? Or is it more about just tricking yourself into feeling relaxed?
Oh, there's definitely some science to it. Chamomile tea, for example, actually has a mild sedative effect.
Whoa, really? So it's not just a placebo effect?
Nope. And magnesium is another popular one. It helps your muscles relax and can calm your nerves, which definitely helps with sleep.
Interesting. It's like giving your body a little nudge in the right direction. But okay, let's talk about when sleep gets really complicated, sleep disorders.
Yeah, sleep disorders are a whole other beast.
Mm,
And they're a lot more common than people realize.
I've definitely heard that. Like insomnia, for example, seems like it's everywhere these days.
It is, and it's brutal. You just can't fall asleep, or you wake up in the middle of the night and can't get back to sleep. And it's not just about feeling tired the next day. It can really impact your mood, your energy levels, your whole life, really.
I can only imagine. What about sleep apnea? I know that one can be really serious too, right?
Definitely. With sleep apnea, your breathing actually pauses while you're sleeping.
Wait, seriously? Your breathing just stops?
Yeah, it's pretty scary stuff. Your airway gets blocked, either partially or completely, and it interrupts your breathing. These pauses can last for seconds, sometimes even minutes, and it often wakes you up gasping for air.
Oh, wow. That sounds terrifying.
It can be a serious condition. And even if you don't fully wake up each time, those repeated micro-awakenings really mess with your sleep cycles. You never really fall into that deep, restorative sleep.
So even if you're technically spending enough time in bed, the quality of your sleep is suffering.
Exactly. And there are actually some interesting links between sleep apnea and fitness. Did you know that it's more common in men, especially those with larger neck sizes?
Really? I never would have guessed that. Why is that?
It's not about the muscle itself, but more about how a larger neck can sometimes mean a narrower airway. And that can become a problem during sleep.
Wow. So in a way, all that hard work in the gym could actually be working against them when it comes to sleep.
It's all about balance, right? But hey, before we wrap up, there's one more mind-blowing thing I wanted to share about sleep. It turns out that it might actually play a crucial role in how our brains learn and form memories.
Wait, what? So all those weird dreams could actually be my brain, like, filing things away for later?
That's the idea. Scientists think that during REM sleep, our brains are essentially replaying experiences we had during the day, strengthening connections and transferring information from short-term to long-term memory.
That's incredible. So getting enough sleep, especially REM sleep, could actually help me ace my next exam or nail that big presentation at work.
It certainly can't hurt. Your brain is amazingly adaptable, and sleep plays a key role in that.
Wow, who knew sleep was such a superpower? I'm definitely going to be looking at those 8 hours a night a lot differently now.
Me too.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is we're still really just scratching the surface when it comes to understanding all the complexities of sleep.
Well, I think it's safe to say we've all learned a ton today. Sleep is way more than just resting our bodies. It impacts our muscles, our brains, even our moods.
Totally. And while we might not have all the answers yet, one thing's for sure, we can't underestimate the power of a good night's sleep.
Couldn't agree more. And hey, maybe if we all prioritize sleep a little more, we can unlock even a fraction of that brain-boosting power we were just talking about. Thanks for diving into the science of sleep with us. Sleep tight, everyone.